I thought it was a well-played, hard-fought game, and give them credit on winning the tournament championship. An outstanding season. Thought our guys battled and really fought. Obviously got a disappointed, emotional group, but I would expect nothing less given, what this group has been all year. So, we're going to find a way to bounce back here and get our guys emotionally in a good place, physically in a good place. But it was a heck of a college basketball game.
Great. Thank you, Coach. And just like to remind the members of the media, we'll go with one question so we can get everyone through. We'll open up questioning with Bruce Hooley from Press Pros. Bruce?
Chris, I don't know if this felt different to you guys, but I think the expectations of the fans were just, it's gravy getting to this championship game, and then you get behind early. I'm sure you're exceedingly proud of your team today, the way they kept coming back from 10 down on tired legs with Kyle out.
I am. Yeah, I am, Bruce. I am. I mean, it was an emotional locker room. I just, I told them that I think anybody who cares about the program, former players who, we try as hard as we can to make proud, they carry that with them. They carry the weight of making every, former Buckeye proud. Every Buckeye fan, everybody who loves this university. And I told them they did. Listen, we came close to a championship, and it's exceedingly disappointing. But what I'm not disappointed in is their resolve, their fight, and their effort.
Next up, we'll go with Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. Brendan?
Chris, you talk about that effort. Starting the game with 1 of 16 from the floor, and yet the body language was not particularly negative. Guys weren't hanging their heads. Nobody was pointing fingers at each other. And I think it really helped in the tail stretch of the first half where you hit 10 of 12 shots. What did you notice when maybe you guys got in a huddle there after having that 1 for 16 start and the switch flipped and then the game became competitive?
I thought, to be honest with you, I thought we settled a little bit too much offensively. And then, we had to change our ball screen coverage because we were getting picked apart, and we thought it was the correct way. We just had to make some adjustments there. And then honestly, I thought that we had to get into the rhythm of the game. And I thought some of our finesse offense led to some of our finesse defense. And I think once we dug our heels in a little bit, but give Illinois credit, they made shots, they made plays, they're difficult to guard, and they got us on the glass. They're a really good team. But it wasn't like we were playing against anybody out there. We're playing against a really good team, but we also needed more bite on both ends.
Next up, we'll go to Bill Landis with The Athletic. Bill?
Chris, I suppose this guarantees you nothing moving forward, but it does seem like you guys came to Indianapolis and found a way to play some of your best basketball and played in some really kind of high leverage games that I'm sure will suit you well moving forward. Just how do you feel about that? I know the loss is disappointing, but it did seem like you had to get something back in terms of playing with a little more confidence, and that appeared to happen. Yeah,
I think so, Bill. I do agree with that. I think that we needed that. The Minnesota win was important. I'm not going to, say that it wasn't important to get feeling better about us. And then I think we carried some of that momentum, and guys obviously, tasted the opportunity to win a championship. And I think it was important for us to play well. And I said, I did not think we were playing poorly in that closing stretch, with the exception of large stretches of the Iowa game where I did not think we played well. I thought some of the other games we were, but we needed to raise our level. I think we did that. To your point, Bill, there are no guarantees. And we've got to find the way to, continue to do that, because as everybody on this call knows, every game is a challenge in the tournament, and there are no easy ones. So I think it was important for us to play well. I thought we had some of these halves were some of the best halves of our season. They just were, I think we can build on that.
Next up, we'll go Steve Hellwagon with 24/7 Sports. Steve?
Yeah, Coach. Go back to the beginning of the season. You're picked middle of the pack Big Ten, and you come out of this with a number 2 seed in the NCAA, the highest seed Ohio State's had in 8 years. Just a thought, I guess, about, you haven't arrived or anything like that, but it is a much better position than you found this thing in 4 years ago. And I don't know, just your thought about what was put into this season and the opportunity you have lying ahead the next several weeks.
Well, you mentioned it, opportunity, and it begins on, our first game. Steve, I think I have given that some thought. I think, the opportunity to play for a championship, Steve, was really, really important for us. We thought we might have had a chance in the regular season in the last 3 or 4 weeks, but we just couldn't quite get there. The opportunity to play for a championship was very important for us as a group, because I think when you have an opportunity to be in games like this, it only makes you hungrier. It only makes you hungrier. And there's no question about it. It elevates everybody in the locker room. And, listen, I'll wait to make too many postscripts on our season. I'm well aware of where we were picked early, and I feel, I feel really good about this group, but we are climbing, and we are still climbing, and we're trying to stay in the moment as much as possible. But there's no question, as I reflect back on this moment, Steve, playing for a championship was really important for this group.
Thanks.
We'll go to Adam Jardy with the Columbus Dispatch. Adam?
Chris, as you talk about this, you keep climbing, you keep building. The fact that you guys, with tired legs, and were able to dig in a game that easily could have gotten out of hand and stayed out of hand. I know you've talked this season about just a strong belief in this team's ability to overcome adversity, but what did you see specifically in that avenue today as far as forcing this game on tired legs into overtime the way you did, and to do it without Kyle? Do you have any thoughts on him going forward?
I don't know yet on him, Adam, to be honest with you. I don't know. And I'm not sure when we'll know specifically on him. He was with us. He was in the locker room today, Adam. But words like resiliency and toughness and grit, they get used too much. But this group has it. They have it. They have that. They do. And if you followed us, like all of you have, you know that. And, we don't play perfect or coach perfect, but we have that. We do have that.
Next up, we'll go to Stephen Means with Cleveland.com. Stephen?
As you said that for a couple of games now, how much of that learning about your team, and how much did you learn that they had this it factor in them over the last 4 days in comparison to maybe what you learned during that 10-1 stretch that they had in January and February?
Yeah, I think you're always learning, Stephen. I think I learned more this week because of how difficult the closing stretch of the season was. You saw us on senior day, guys. They couldn't. They just were devastated. I think I learned, there's no question, I think we all learned more about our guys and our ability to respond and stay in the moment and win the moment right in front of us. And that takes tremendous character. Obviously, it takes really good players, but it takes tremendous character, and it takes the ability to grow in that area, doing hard things as the season goes on, and embrace that. And I think that it was a really, seminal moment for us to see how we responded to that tough stretch.
We're going to finish up with the last couple of questions here. We'll go with Clay Hall, WSYX Channel 6. Clay?
Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry, I just came up from the set, so I've missed most of this. But considering the mileage on your team, will 4 days be enough rest to get this thing cranked up and ready to go?
Do we know when we're playing yet?
I read Friday. Is that true or not?
You know what time at all? Okay. It's a good question, Clay. Certainly not going to use it as an excuse, but we've got to get our medical staff and our team in a good place physically. And, we got to get ourselves right. I think emotionally we'll bounce back. But we got to get ourselves rested and right. I do think that, Clay, to your point, I didn't know when we played until you just said that, and Dan just told me. So, yeah, it's priority number one for us.
But considering what you just went through and how much your team maybe has proven to you, how anxious are you to see what can happen in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I love this group. I absolutely love this group. I love them. Our coaching staff loves them. So I can't wait to get back to work with them. But I'm excited about the next opportunity we get a chance to do this again. I really am.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll go with Patrick Murphy, 24/7 Sports. Patrick.
Chris, can you take us in the locker room? Obviously, disappointment with losing the game, but as you mentioned, there is quite the opportunity ahead of you here in the tournament. What were the guys like? What were you like? What was the emotions and whatnot in the locker room?
We had a lot of emotional guys, and we had a lot of emotional coaches. And honestly, I wouldn't, Patrick, expected anything else of this group. I just wouldn't have. I think they had real high level belief in what we could be, and they didn't come for anything other than a championship. And, it was just really emotional. I just tried to bring some perspective to it, which is hard in the moment. But, I told them, hey, listen, we got to own the fact that we were close, but we just didn't quite get it done. But I also understand that I was incredibly proud with our response and our effort. And I said to people that know and care about the program, I'm pretty confident we'll feel the same way. And, I got a text from Evan right after the game. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but, we work really hard to make guys like that proud. And I believe that was some of his sentiment. That means a lot to us.
We'll move on to Colin Hass-Hill with 11 Warriors. Colin?
Chris, I know you said that, emotionally you feel like you guys will be able to bounce back, but, just how tough was it these past 4 days emotionally to go through all of the ways that these games sort of took you guys? And obviously you finished just a little bit short, and now you have 4 days to respond and get back on the horse for the tournament.
Yeah, Colin, I think, we played some of our best basketball. So I think that's probably what we'll reflect back on and probably hang on to as much as anything, that we played some of our best basketball of the year. We certainly had some errors and some things that we've got to do better, but I don't think anybody would look back and say we didn't play some of our best basketball. So I think you try to hang on to that. I get, they need a little bit of time. It's whatever time it is, they need a little bit of time to deal with this. And, I'm confident we'll have a resilient approach, but I guess you don't know for sure until I get a chance to spend some time around them. But I think they know what's in front of them in terms of, and what's in front of them is the immediate get rest and get ready to go for Oral Roberts.
Coach, we've got one last question from Steve about seeding. Go ahead, Steve Hellwagon from 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, everybody's got their projections. Just was thought you were on the 2 line, and do you appreciate that in Iowa in the same boat, that they did not put you and Iowa in the same brackets as Michigan and Illinois? Familiarity, unfamiliarity, I don't know which way that cuts, but just seems like a fairness issue that you're not going to have to play teams that you've already played 2 and 3 times until you get potentially to the Final Four if it works out. Just your thought about, as one of those 2 seeds, how they placed you.
Yeah, Steve, I don't know that I have, to be honest with you, any real worthwhile thoughts on that right now. I think that, I haven't honestly had a chance to take a whole look at it, other than Oral Roberts and maybe who we would potentially play if we beat Oral Roberts. So that's news to me. And I'm not even sure that I'm familiar enough with all of how that works this year. Maybe I am in a different year when you're talking about regions and geography. So I don't know that I could give you really a good answer other than, I'm glad the Big Ten is well represented, and hopefully we can perform well.
And Coach, we have one last question. This goes to Sean Dunnigan from WBNS 10 TV. Sean?
Chris, as disappointing as this loss is do you see it as possibly a good thing that the tournament's just right around the corner for everybody just to get back up real quick after this game?
Yeah, I think I think I'm glad we're not playing on Thursday. I'm glad we're not playing in a normal situation on Thursday, given the fact that we had 2 overtime games and 4 games that were challenging. So I think that might be too quick for us. But listen, our guys were well aware of what was next. I just think they were so locked into the moment, which is the way they need to be. And that's the way they need to be here moving forward. So, we'll see. We'll see how our guys, like I said, I think they're a resilient group. We'll give them some time. They'll respond.